Do you feel like you're stuck in time, forever waiting on that line, if nothing ever moves?
Hey everyone, welcome back to Music Mondays. We are on episode 13, which is wild. Yeah.
Hopefully we don't have audio issues today. Sorry about that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We tested it and it was fine.
Yeah.
But with our luck, something will happen.
Who knows what's going to happen. But that's okay.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Bear with us. My sticker's peeling off.
Okay. So this week we're talking about Dr. Dog's 2008 album, Fate. Dr. Dog has 5 members: Scott McMicken, Toby Lehman, Zach Miller, Eric Slick, and Frank McElroy. McMicken and Lehman met in college in Philadelphia, and they had a project, otherwise known as a band, called Raccoon. And then they decided to start like a bigger band, and they have had multiple other artists. There's been 7 past members, but Lehman and McMicken have been constants.
So they're the originals?
Mm-hmm. They're
Nice.
the OGs. And they're the 2 voices that you hear. They share the title of lead singer, but also play instruments as well.
They
McMicken
both real good.
Yeah, McMicken is lead guitar and Lehman is the bass guitar.
Nice.
Zach Miller is keyboard. He also does like organ and all that crazy stuff.
All the sounds.
Yeah. Eric Slick is drums, and then Frank McElroy is rhythm guitar. So he does like the banjo and every other type of guitar that there is other than lead and bass.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool.
Nice.
They've been active for 15 years as Dr. Dog, and Lehman recently was quoted saying that he feels like he's in a totally new band, which is kind of interesting because it's the same band that he's been in for 15 years.
Yeah.
But with so many member changes and everything, I'm sure it is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how that would get kind of like... But I feel like that's so common nowadays, you know?
It is.
It's just... Bands are weird. I know my dad's told me lots of times, he's like, people in bands are hard to work with.
Yeah.
He's like, that's like the most tension I've ever felt, like in a place, you know, like, I mean, I feel like when you put a bunch of creative people together, because I mean, I know that I'm kind of guilty of it. If someone's like, oh, I don't really love your idea, I'm like, why not? Like,
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that, and I like have such a way of how I think things should work in my head, and when people don't like agree, that sounds self-centered. I'm not trying to be cocky. This is a flaw,
No,
but
it's
it's
an
like,
artist thing, though.
yeah, it's like when I see something in my head and someone's like, I don't think that's gonna work, or like, well, let's try it this way, and I'm like, no, like this is how I see it, and it's like, well, it's not always right, and I have a really hard time
Yeah.
accepting. Like, you know, we can arrive at probably a better place. My idea probably isn't the best one, so it's like, but yeah, I can imagine just like being in a band with all those people that probably think that way.
And I feel like with music especially, working with a bunch of artists is difficult because everyone has a vision for their own sound.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have people like Lehman and McMicken who have been a part of this band for 15 years and you're new to it, but you have these opinions on how the band should sound.
Right.
It's almost, I imagine it would be difficult to bring up to them like, hey, I think that this would elevate our sound without stepping on their toes.
Right, and then if you don't bring it up, then you might like build some kind of resentment or something, and
Right.
be like, God,
Yeah.
artist life,
Yeah.
so rough. It is. It's hard.
It
Makes me tired.
And I forgot, I wanted to say this about people changing in and out. They do a lot of harmony stuff in their music, especially in this album. And when you're changing out people all the time, it's got to be difficult to keep those tones, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some people aren't. I mean, I'm not like, if you're in a professional band, you probably can like sing harmony as well. But
Yeah.
There are some people that just can't find them.
Yeah. But.
And yeah, just like, and especially as like, the 2 original members, that's got to be hard to kind of like, how am I going to word this? So like, you like grow and you kind of rise, and then like those people that helped you do that leave, and then you bring in new people, and then as the new people, you're like, oh, I just like came into this success. I didn't help build it, and like they built this, and like I can see that would be a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
Not necessarily bad, but a weird one.
Yeah. One thing that's really cool though, and I think probably the reason that Lehman said he feels like he's in a totally new band is that their newest album, hold on, let me find the name of it. Critical Equation, it came out in April of this year. It has a very different sound. It's a little bit less bluegrass and folky and more electric a little bit, which is fun. And so I would like to know if that came from the new members or if it was a collective thing. Or I know that they switched record labels in I think it was 2010 or 11. So I don't know if it was the label's decision but it's cool to see artists and bands especially change their sound, because it's like
it's growth.
Where did it come from?
Yeah. And I don't like when people are mad about an artist kind of changing their sound. I know like a lot of people were mad about, Paramore. They're like, give me the old Paramore, give me the, and it's like people grow in their art. They're not just like changing and like staying on the same level as something different. They're growing in their art and reaching this new thing, and it's like,
yeah,
that's good. Like people just can't be satisfied. If they had the same thing all the time, they'd be like, give us something new, and then they'd give them something new and be like, we miss the old you. It's like, just, are they?
Oh my God,
are they on tour?
They're gonna be in Fort Wayne for Middle Waves on September 15th.
Go. I can't, or I would, but I got rehearsals taken up my entire life. I love it though. In case anybody wants to see it, I'm having a blast. It's just a lot. I'm not trying to complain. It's just a lot.
Okay. So Fate in 2008 peaked at number 86 on the United States charts, but on the U.S. indie charts, it peaked at number 12, which is kind of cool.
Dang.
It just kind of shows you how in 2008 indie wasn't as popular as it is now.
Yeah. I mean, 86 isn't like bad.
No,
like,
it's
that's
pretty
really
good.
I'd be like, I debuted 6,000th.
I debuted not even on the chart.
I debuted with nothing. 5 bars, 5 seconds. Have you seen that video?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry. Me and Megan have been talking about that video where he's like, all men are friends. Do you know what I'm talking about? He's like, I'll show you later. That's not what this is about.
That's funny. You want to go into our favorites?
Yeah, let's.
So, my favorite of the album is The Breeze. It's already on the Friday Faves playlist, so I'll have to pick a different song.
The Breeze. We need to put that up. It's Friday.
Shit.
Eek.
It's Monday.
We're coming at you live.
Yeah.
We should do a live episode sometime. That'd be kind of cool.
It would be fun.
That won't be for a while, but we'll try.
Yeah,
maybe.
I have I was telling you before we started recording, I have an emotional attachment to this album because my dad and I both really love it, and it's one of those albums where we could listen to it on repeat and just jam, and he'll just randomly send me one song off of the album and be like, I listened to this song 15 times today. It's fucking weird. And I was like, yeah. Specifically with Army of Ancients, he did that because that song makes no goddamn sense at all. Have you ever listened to the lyrics of it?
Probably not too closely. Probably not closely enough to be like, what? I listened to it in the shower this morning. That's where I do most of my best research is in the shower, which is pathetic. I have this huge bruise on my hand. I'm going to show our millions of viewers this large bruise that appeared only hours ago. Don't know where from.
With the lyrics of The Breeze, my dad always says, I think of you every time I hear them, which is nice and sweet.
Taylor, you make no sense. Oh, and that's The Breeze.
That's Army of Ancients.
Never mind.
Yeah, but Army of Ancients is, how did the fox get the rave and the crow? Oh, yeah.
That's that song.
Why did the hen pick grains in the snow? Why did the brother bury his gold? Where took the ref when the kids came along? Why did the mouse help the bees with the floor? Like, there has to be meaning in there.
So heavily metaphorical that it's just nonsense.
Yeah. And, like, the way that he, like, wails in this song literally made me cry in the car the other day. Because it's, like, there's a lot of pain in his voice. So I don't know if he, like, had a mental breakdown and just wrote all these words. And it was like, why at the creek did the dog lose the bone? Like, I don't fucking know. I got it. Oh, yeah. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Is it maybe... We should look up the meaning for it at some point.
God.
See what it seems.
It's on Genius. Let's see if anyone...
See what it means. Okay, so I'll talk about... While she's looking that up, I'll talk about... my favorite was The Old Days. The little piano at the beginning slaps. Like, it's one of those things where, like, the chord progression itself is pleasing to my ear holes. I don't have a lot to say about the lyrics because I never heard of this album until Taylor was like, we're going to do this album. I was like, okay. I've heard one song by Dr. Dog previously to this moment, but they're great. And I've always intended to listen to them more, but I am very bad about getting stuck in, like, my playlist rut. Instead of, like, I have songs on my playlist. I'm like, I want to listen to this artist and this artist and this artist. And then I just keep only listening to this one song by them that I have on my playlist. And it's like...
Yeah, it's funny that you've only heard Heart It Races because that came out in 2007.
It was on my Discover Weekly one time. That's how I found it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's
it.
probably the song that most people have heard them.
Yeah, it had like 22 million plays, something like that.
Yeah, something wild.
Crazy amount. But yeah.
They have an album called Passed Away. So instead of saying, I will die, or I need to leave, Leah says, I'm going to pass away.
I do. I just think it adds a little touch of something.
Makes my day.
Like, if it's... Like, we were walking to the bus today, and, like, the bus was there, and we're like, we're not going to make it. Taylor's like, not running. And I said, no, if we run, I will pass away. I just feel like it adds a little flair, you know?
It does.
Adds a little flair.
It does.
Everybody says, I will die.
Yeah.
I say, I will pass away.
Yeah.
So I'm unique. I'm quirky. I'm weird. I'm
so weird.
fun. I'm
like,
so different.
That's amazing.
Why? That went south quickly. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, man.
I forget that, like, we can't talk about, like, inside joke things that we laugh at outside of this because nobody understands.
Here's the fun thing, though. We can do whatever we want on our own
That's
podcast,
true.
So.
This is our podcast.
And our kitchen. So, this is a fun story for them to hear. On the way here, on that bus that we were just talking about.
Taylor tipped over.
I just tipped right on over. I was, like, getting ready to sit. And the bus driver just decides to fucking zoom. He was like, all right, got a blast. Zoom. And I was like, I felt like...
You had pizza in this hand and coffee in this
the other one. And I just went,
And it was like this chair. So, like, there's the ones that go this way and then the ones that go, like, sideways. And there was a girl sitting, like,
facing the bus driver.
Yeah.
And we were facing, like, the other side of the bus.
And Taylor just falls into
and she catches me like this. And she was like, are you all right? And this guy across from us is just like,
he literally went. And I was like
as if I had
sorry
any
that
control.
you don't have control over physics. Like, also that girl caught Taylor and said, are you all right? And Taylor goes, thank you.
It's true. And then I was like, I just tipped over. Like, it's not even that I fell. Literally, my ankle went like this.
Her ass was this far from the seat, and she was like, boom.
It was traumatic.
It was amazing.
But
and then the bus driver was like, every stop that he made, he came to a halt.
He almost hit the Acadia in front of us, like 18
And then he was like, what are you doing? And like the car never started moving. Like, why are you doing this? He was like,
He almost hit
and like
several people, too.
The car's not moving. Yeah, he was wild. Bus drivers, I feel like I really appreciate public transportation. It's great. It's a wonderful service.
Especially ours, because it's run by the windmills.
Yeah, and ours are great, but bus drivers are reckless people.
So you know how they have that little monitor at the top that tells them how late they are? Yeah, he was 15 minutes late.
A mood.
So, like, on time -1. Like, I'm pretty sure that bus probably goes, because there's 3 silver loops, and they all come in 5-minute increments. So
yeah,
he had missed an entire cycle.
Oh man, dude.
But that's what he kept doing.
Yeah.
Well,
Something else.
now that we're done talking about that.
So welcome back to our bus cast. We should do the podcast from the bus.
Oh my God, that'd be awful.
I told my roommates this morning, I said, I want to do the podcast from the pizza place.
Yeah. It'd be fun.
Because we got pizza today.
We did get pizza.
It was great.
What do you like most about this album?
I felt a weird nostalgia. And I'm going to try to explain this without sounding incoherent. I've never heard this album before, so I have no attachment to it whatsoever. I don't really, like, it's indie music. I listen to indie music, and I listen to music like this. But it was just, like, the kind of indie music that, for some reason, I was like, this is me. Mm-hmm. Like, when I heard this album, do you ever, like, I think Amelia and I were talking about this once, like, there are some songs and some artists that, like, you hear their music and you hear their songs and you're like, that is me.
Yeah.
This was one of those things, but I'm like, I just really heard myself, and I heard my own style. I heard like my own clothing style, and I heard like my style of things I like. I for some reason just like heard that in this album, and was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like
feel-good.
if I made my own music, it would be similar to that.
Yeah.
Probably.
And I think that a part of it probably is the instrumentation of it. Because it's not just 2 guitars and a drummer. They
There's
use
a lot
organs. Going on. They use
It's very different, and it's very complex, and I really appreciate that because music nowadays is great. I'm not trying to like bash on it.
No, yeah.
Everybody makes the same kind of music, and I know why, because that's what sells, and I like the stuff that's coming out, but it's like, and I mean, granted, this album did come out 10 years ago, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like music like this doesn't come out anymore. Unless it's like Bon Iver or which isn't, he's not the same as them, but it's like weird shit doesn't really come out anymore.
They literally used a referee whistle.
Yeah.
A mouth harp, a meatball palace. I don't know what that is, but it's listed as a type of instrument that one of their old members used. An omnichord, banjo. You look at meatball palace.
Yeah. Dr. Dog was the first thing that came up. I'm getting restaurants and actual meatballs. I'm getting Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh, what a great film.
This is a Tumblr post. I don't know what that is. Okay.
Well,
whatever.
I guess we'll never find out.
Interesting.
But, they, one of their songs was featured in the season 4 trailer of Fear the Walking Dead.
Like The Walking Dead?
Fear the Walking Dead.
It's like the
sub-series from Walking
Dead.
Dead.
I don't watch any of them because I don't like blood and gore.
I know.
Or anything scary. Or watching TV.
Yeah. They've been on Conan, Jimmy Fallon, Carson Daly. They do a lot of Record Store Day stuff. That's
Nice.
like their jam. They were on Letterman.
Nice.
with their 2007 album, We All Belong. Yeah. I don't know why I did that.
Your lips got so tiny.
Can you do that?
Not, I can't make him that tiny. Taylor's just like a real like little bitty person. Like everything about her is real little.
It's really funny. Sometimes I'll be like laying on the couch and like a little ball, and Evan will walk out and he'll be like, "You're so small. Like you take up so little space."
You do.
And he
You're
like,
like
gets mad about
like
it. He's
everything about you is like little. Like when I sit on the couch,
I like to be as warm
mm-hmm.
as possible. So I
cocooned.
just like
When
cozy up.
she cocoon.
She do cocoon.
Yeah. So we want to talk about bullshit from. Oh wait, no, we gotta talk about what your likes. What?
What your likes?
I actually hold on. Can I say what I typed?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the categories is what Leo like, and I have 4 bullet points. And at the bullet points, it says groovy, fun, good album. Those are my 4 bullet points.
Don't forget, you spelled groovy with an IE.
I did. Luke and I replace Y's with IEs for some reason, because we think that's fun.
Couple goals.
He also, like, you know how we say like, oh, like she tip or like he fall.
There you go. Yeah.
Like that, we do not use the word he's in any situation. Like he was talking about my dog and he goes, no, I think it was my dog. He was talking about something and he was like, he take ball, he run with ball, he chew. And he has like a whole sentence like in that like way. And I was just like, huh? But I understood. I was like, yeah.
That's funny. Like I said, this album is good stuff for me. For favorites, it's definitely The Breeze, Army of Ancients, The Rabbit, the Bat, and the Reindeer. My Friend. Those are like, just looking at the 11 tracks, those are for sure my faves.
Mm-hmm. My Friend's a good bop. God. Which one was the one I was playing before? That's like, is that 100 years? Hold on.
About 100 years from now.
It was 100 years. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
That's just breathe heavily.
All of these songs fit on the album, but also all have very different sounds. Mm-hmm. And I think a part of that is that there's co-lead singers, so like they swap it's like not every song has the same vocals, which is cool.
Yeah, and I like how distinct their voices are from each other.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I like the it's not even raspy, it's just like a
I call it. Yeah. I like the yell singing. You know, like, I can't, obviously I can't do it. That was a terrible, terrible noise, but.
Like us last night at Cactus singing the ooh-oohs.
Hot damn.
Those are bad.
Hot damn. What song were we singing?
Oh man, I don't know. It was some.
We were like, ooh.
Yeah. And then I went into the singing like Celine Dion for some reason.
Miss Fry. That's a little more Shakira than Celine Dion.
A little bit.
My Shakira and Celine Dion impressions are very similar, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. You just gotta add a little bit of a Latin twist on your Celine to make it.
Yeah. Celine Dion singing Shakira. It's also, God, I always say whenever, and like, I know that that's wrong. Luke is always like, that's not the word. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know which one comes first, and I think it's whenever, but then I'm like always, I think I'm always wrong, so then I just say it twice. Because one of the times it's going to be right.
I think it's wherever, whenever.
I think so too, and I always forget that, so I just say whenever at first. I'm like, oh shit, and then I say whenever again, which is correct. So then it's whenever. Whenever. Okay, that's enough. We don't need me singing
Caroline
anymore.
did a lot of these last night.
Oh my God, Caroline.
Neither of us can do it with our left hand. Caroline and I.
Paul always goes like this. Oh, we should give a shout out to Paul's new podcast.
Yay, Paul!
Yay, Paul! Paul has a podcast called Big Mood. You can find it on Anchor. You can find it. If you can find our podcast, you can find Paul's, and you need to go listen to it.
He markets his way better than we do.
Yeah, he got. I think he got like 400 plays on his first episode.
Nice.
Snaps. So yeah, Paul. So I'm gonna give a brief summary. We haven't really talked about this album too much, and I'm sorry I keep going off on side tangents,
okay.
but whatever.
I just liked it, and we needed an album for the weekend.
It's really good, and it's yeah. It's not that I don't have a lot to say about this album. It's just like it was just kind of one of those where you can just just listen to it. Yeah. Don't suck. Go listen to it. Also listen to Big Mood. So Paul's podcast he's a teacher, and he teaches high school English. If that's wrong, I'm gonna hate myself because I should know that. And Paul, I'm sorry if that is wrong. I don't think it is, but for some reason in my mind, I'm like, oh God. But every episode, he interviews a student. Mm-hmm. And he just doesn't really interview them. He kind of like has a couple things, and he's like, okay, now you talk to me. So he talks about like, I think the last one was thinking about, it was called like, will my friends ever be safe? Mm-hmm. Something like that. And it's just like his students talking candidly about their views on the world, and it's really cool. And I think it's cool how Paul is the kind of teacher that is like, I want to learn from my students. I don't want to just assert knowledge on them, which is, love you. He's a wonderful person.
Yeah. He seems really great.
Mm-hmm. He's great. So it's cool. Go listen to it.
Yeah, I agree. I listened to the first one, not the second one yet, but it was good. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. And going into it, I was like, I don't really know if I want to listen to teenagers talk. But then it was like, the teenagers that he's speaking to are intelligent.
Yeah. No, they're
people.
They're, I can't speak words. He teaches at a school that's like a couple towns from mine. Like they were like in our like conference or whatever. But he has brought like a lot to that area, which is cool. And he also, I think, because Paul is like very liberal, very socially aware, very active, and he's just really socially conscious, and like has like such an open mind, and is really, really cool, and just knows so much. And I think that's transferring onto his students. And I also just think that the students, it's in there, and I feel like, especially in the town that I'm from, not a lot of people have been able to express that more, I guess, liberal side. Yeah. Because I live in a very conservative area. And I'm not going to get political and like whatever right now, because I don't want to do that. But yeah, I just think he's really giving them a place to just be candid. Yeah. And like just talk safely and learn from themselves, also from him. Like, it's just cool. Yeah. Listen to it.
It is cool. It's very cool, and it's very refreshing to know that not all young people are disaster humans.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in our generation. Yeah. I have a lot of faith in like my sister. It's like my sister's generation. I mean, we're only 6 years apart, but like we're in a different generation, and it's like I put a lot of faith in them. Yeah. I mean, if any of you that watches have ever met my sister, you know that she's
cooler than me.
She's cooler than me. She's cooler than I'll ever be. She's more socially conscious than most adults I know. She's like, feminism, and I'm like, yeah. Me and her, oh my God, me and her and my mom are just like on a little feminist rampage all the time. It's great.
I love that.
Little trio.
While we're shouting out other podcasts, I feel like I need to give a shout out to my dad and my Uncle Steve. Oh, they have a podcast called The Obvious Brothers. They shouted us out last week.
They did. Thank you.
Yeah, last week after they had listened to the podcast with Chris. And they introed and outroed their podcast with...
Yeah, they, like, played it. It was so cute.
It was real cute. It's the Obvious Brothers. It's a sports podcast. Steve's audio is really clear, but he puts my dad on speakerphone, I think, and then records it that way. So my dad sounds like he's on, like, because he is on the phone.
Yeah.
So that's something, it's real fun.
Yeah.
They're on SoundCloud only,
It was
I
cute.
think.
Yeah,
But just a little shout out there.
SoundCloud's a good platform. But yeah, so this has been PromoCast with Taylor and Leah.
Yeah. Let's talk about everything except for what we were supposed to talk about.
You know what? It's our podcast.
Women
We can do
don't
whatever we want.
Yeah. I do want to talk about Pitchfork for a hot second.
God.
They gave this album a 5.5, and they called it posh. What about this is posh?
Pitchfork
None of it.
can shove it.
They
I got a hair
can
in
shove
my
it. You know, we were fine with them last week, but it's not going to happen this week.
mouth. Get it? Did I get the hair out of my mouth?
I think you did. I think you got it.
Okay, I couldn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was like... All right.
Yeah. You have something that you don't like.
I'm not going to say I don't like the song Breeze, because I do.
Mm-hmm.
I just, on the ooh part, they, like, go flat, and I know that it's intentional, but, like,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
I don't like that, and I know that it's an artistic decision, and I understand that, but I personally would not do that. And I don't like that stylistic choice, but that's just me.
Yeah.
That's my own personal opinion, and that's what
okay.
I have to say.
So next week,
Next week,
we have Troye Sivan, Bloom, came out.
I bloom just for you. I bloom just for you.
It came out this morning as of this Friday that we're recording this Monday podcast.
Yeah.
So, like we said last week, we don't have enough time to gather our thoughts on the
Yeah,
album.
we've had 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, we've had more than that, but like from the
It came
time we
out
like woke up and
while we got home last night.
yeah. It was out by the time we got home last night.
Yeah.
We're the worst.
And Billboard already had a review out, and I was like,
How you can't listen.
you can't.
I'm like,
I
you
mean,
can't
I
listen
guess-
to an album one time and then review it, and then there's me over here like having this whole podcast.
I suppose they could get special access to the album.
Yeah, they
before it came
probably
out, 'cause,
have,
you know, that's how that industry works, and I
Yeah.
should be less upset about it than I am. But it's fine.
It's okay.
Ours will be better. So that's next week. That'll be fun and exciting and fun and freaky fresh.
Funky fresh.
Yeah.
Let me see you 1, 2 step. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from.
I don't think those. But I
Is that
think
not
you
the
sing
word?
2 different songs in the same.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where
Were you
it
going
came
for
from.
Sierra's 1, 2 step?
Mhm.
Yeah, that was not.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I mean, I was going. I wasn't going for it, and I knew it was wrong. It just came out.
Okay. Chores.
Chores. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Music Monday Cast, and then the drill. We're on SoundCloud. We're on Anchor. We're on this and we're on that. We're on all of the things. You can listen anywhere. Listen in your car. Listen while you take a shit. Listen right when you wake up in the morning and you feel like a dump. Listen at the grocery store.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
Whatever your little heart desires, my
And
dear.
yeah, also listen to our Friday faves
Yeah.
that we're gonna put up immediately after.
Yeah,
'cause it's Friday currently, and also 3 p.m. Oops.
We were like,
I
yeah,
didn't-
let's go in at noon. And then we got pizza for an hour.
We got here
and
at-
then we got Starbucks for like another hour.
We got here at like 1:45.
Fine.
So yeah. That's
Final
that.
thoughts on Fate.
Final thoughts. It's a great album, and I think there's a little something in it for everybody.
Yeah.
I
can
it's
see
not like one of those albums like I'm gonna shout Chris out for a second. That album is really, really good, but I don't think it's for everybody. The album we did with Chris, I feel like some people would be like, this is weird. I think that this album, it's in that general direction,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Unless somebody is one of those people that they're like, I only listen to trap music. Me and my frat brothers only listen to trap music. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know why I gave him a hick accent.
Yeah,
but-
people that like only listen to 3 songs might not. They aren't watching this anyway,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter.
But there's a little something in here for everyone that listens to music.
Yeah, it's just it's really cool and indie, but it also could be on the radio.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's all we have to say.
Yeah.
Should have just said at the beginning and been like, bye.
That's kind of all I have to say.
Yeah,
This podcast was the definition of a shit show.
it's fine.
But I'm okay with it. I hope you guys are too.
Entertaining the people. At least our audio is good. And if it's not good, I'm just going to lose my mind.
All right, you guys.
Okay.
Have a musical Monday.
A musical Monday.
And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
My finger popped.